Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another discussion, another session. I am Dr. Justin Goldston, and today we have Vincent Djen joining us, and this is we're going to begin for a treat. Welcome to the discussion, Vincent.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Goldston. Just
All
excited
right.
to be.
All right, thanks. So if you could you introduce yourself and talk about your two organizations that we just briefly talked about?
Okay, so Vincent, Djen, I'm living in Shanghai right now. Been living in Shanghai for 15 years, but I spent 10 years in North America. So I lived in the States prior to Shanghai. Got my education there and so on. So my two organizations, one is Chang Kong Garments. So this is a family business founded by my parents 45 years ago. So what we do is we manufacture mainly outerwear for European brands and American brands more in the premium segment out from China here. And the other business is Remake Hub. It's a 2 years old startup. What we do there is we turn trash and waste into something useful. So we turn bottle caps into marathon medals. We turn waste fish nets into sunglasses, things like that. Yeah.
Interesting. So I kind of start off all of our discussions with two questions. My first question is, what is your definition of sustainability? And two, what are your top two UN Sustainability Development Goals and why?
The two, what I think sustainability is really, it's a circular approach. It's about you build something, and then once it's finished using it, it's will going back to the supply chain, and it will be used going back to supply chain again and to build something. So it's like it's in a circular approach. And also I think sustainability to me means that it's about efficiency, more efficiency, productivity, zero waste, less waste in the supply chain. Because I do a lot of productions and dealing with factory floors and so on. So I think sustainability in some way is a new industrial revolution where we are trying to minimize the waste as much as we can. We are using the least energy, the most efficient green energy we can. So that's how I see sustainability there.
All right.
Yeah.
So first off, I want to stop you there, and I want to say that you said the new industrial revolution, and I absolutely love that. I have not heard that before. I love it. You should have trademarked it. Come on, I'm going to take that one. All right. So you can continue.
Yeah, it just came to my eyes. It's like, wait a minute, it is like a new industrial revolution. It's technology, digital, yes, it's cool, but hey, sustainability, zero waste, it is kind of like that too. So that's why I think that's really my new definition. Yeah, I'm going to trademark that too. We're going to be on the race.
Yeah, you need to hop on that one.
Yeah. So for me, the goals for the UN SDG goals really is the consumption as a responsible consumption, production, and the innovation part, and also the is the climate action. These are my really the big goals there.
So you said innovation, correct?
Yes.
So how do you think innovation is going to lead to a more sustainable world?
I think the innovation part is more than just new materials. Right now, I think we're really in the golden age of new material especially for the textile fashion business.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many new cool things coming out, like mushroom leather, biodegradable fibers, and chemical recycling of cotton into new fiber and yarns. It's all these things. I think it's really, really cool. It reminds me of the old days back in the 20s or early 20s when polyester nylon, those were just invented. It was kind of like that period. So I think that's really innovation part. But also the other innovation part, I think, is the process of zero waste in the manufacturing. Also the consumer end, where how are we gonna give these products a little more legs to it? The reselling, the digital platform for reselling, sharing, and so on. So that's I think the innovation is in the material side, the process side, and also in the business model side. And also how we try to think about, okay, how do we reuse more of these waste? What can we build to something nice looking, and then something useful, and also can create that awareness to say, hey, waste can be cool, fun, fashionable, and so don't just like throw it away, think it's just trash.
So I would say so I teach project and supply chain management within higher education, and but pre-COVID, I would say pre-COVID, because supply chain management is very popular right now, I would say. But pre-COVID, us as educators and professors, we were like, okay, how do we make supply chain management appealing? How do we make supply chain sexy, right? So it's kind of like, how do we make sustainable garments, sustainable fashion sexy? Right. And one thing that you mentioned is what's the deal with this mushroom leather? I've never heard of that one.
Oh, I think that I'm not I'm not producing that. I wish I could, but I have seen samples from it. I've talked to some students in China where they created it for their graduation projects, like for furnitures and so on. So I don't think mushroom leather it's like a new rocket science. I think it's been done before, like I don't know when, but it's what is cool is that you're growing it. You're growing like fungus or bacteria. It's kind of like making yogurt or beer. Correct me if I'm wrong with it. So I think that's potentially it's really is that it can be really scaled up. It can be you can grow it in a way that the size you want, so that potentially less cutting waste. You know how there's a lot of cutting waste while producing garments, clothing, and bags, and so on. And also, I think this is eventually you can put this in like different places, so you can build this factory facility so that it doesn't need to be like, oh, this leather has to be only from this part of the world, and I have to transport it over to another place. And also, since you can grow it like fermentation or this way, so potentially you can really scale it. So I think it's really very scalable solution. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So you mentioned higher education research within China. Are there any other kind of cool things over in your part of the world in terms of sustainable research, sustainability research, I should say?
I think it's in the textile side, where fashion side, we're seeing a lot more research and new things coming up, new fibers coming up from China. Yeah, like the mushroom leather there are a few firms doing it in I think they're trying to scale right now in the US. And in China, we don't really have that, but what I'm seeing here is we're starting to we have a lot of recycled polyester from plastic bottles. We have a pretty strong recycling supply chain here now. I'm seeing PLA, so biodegradable polymers being used in fibers. I'm seeing like a more viscose fiber that will contain cotton waste, cotton textile waste. So these are some of the new things I think coming into the pipeline right now. So there's a lot more. There's also in China. There's also nylon. There are people working on nylon based on these industrial agricultural crops, but not food crops. Yeah. So there's quite a few things coming into happening in China, but a lot of it is based on really recycling and then giving it a new life, I'll say.
Okay. All right. So I want to kind of pivot and go back to your organizations in that. What spawned your ideas for these companies, and two, whenever you were building those companies, how did you select your project teams or your members of your organization? And two, has that vision, has that mindset, has that culture changed as you've grown?
Okay, so like Hong Kong, right, family business. So when my parents started it, we were all about, my parents the motto was about great quality and then really servicing our customers. So just focus on service customers and focus on qualities. So these are the two things that we keep mindset. So when I started 15 years ago, because I have a bit of engineering background and I got my degree in accounting, and also have a minor in marketing. So I was in the US during the first .com boom. So those AOL, CompuServe, Excite at Home, those days. So
you're not that old. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and I was in Silicon Valley during that time, so it was really exciting seeing all these things, and I was like, wow, we're very excited, and so these new technology innovation things was always in my mind, and I like to try things. So when the industry the textile garment industry starting to really focus on sustainability, was the first stage was focusing on worker safety, workers' rights, and wages, and then also the chemical, make sure the products are safe, no allergic reactions, so on. And then after that, we moved into new materials like the sustainable materials. And I say, like, wow, this is really cool. There's a lot of new sustainable material coming in, and I see is that, okay, the industry, it is very polluting. There's a lot of when I take people to these dyeing houses, and they can, in the summertime, it's really hot and humid there. It's not pleasant. So I see is that, okay, we need to do some changes and make the industry better. So with my curiosity, I think I pushed the company more into trying out new things. I always like to try new things. So in the very early few years back, our customer wanted to start doing jackets with recycled polyester. So okay, let's try that. Let's work together and do that. So we started that, and then we even went on into recycled polyester with non-traditional dyeing method. So it's a solution dye, so you don't need to go through the wet processing after you weave the fabric. So when you weave the fabric, the fiber already have color in it. So we did that, and then it just got my like engineering kind of mindset and all these things tingling, and then pushed me more into further investigate into the whole sustainability movement in the textile industry. So and I just keep finding new things, and then tried it out, and then offering them to customers, and then in the meantime also see how I can improve my processes, creating less waste, and so on. So that's where I think, but because we're a small organization, so I'm really pushing for a lot of these new things, trying out new things, testing, trials, coming up with new fabrics, and so on.
Okay. Yeah. So now I see where that innovation is coming in, right? And I think that one important thing that you pointed out was, you relied on the voice of the customer, right? That's one place where, I've seen leaders of organizations have too much pride, especially startups have too much pride, and it's their baby. So they think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's the greatest thing since the internet, and they don't rely on the voice of the customer, so I commend you for that. And then you also, you practice continuous improvement, making it better. So that's an amazing thing. And so, but what does your organizational culture look like within your organization?
For Chancon, we're very our culture it's very family like, because it's a family business. I would say we're not very good businessmen, because our company is not that big. After 40-something years, we're still a family business, not a big organization. We're still a small, medium-sized business. We're not a big or some of these really big manufacturers. But I think because of this small family-like atmosphere, we are very close knitted. A lot of the employees been with us for a long time, over 10 years. They like start from college, graduated, start here, get married, have kids, and had another kids in the company. So, and then culture just focusing on quality services, and I'm the one that is giving my team hard time. It's like, hey, let's try this out. And then even in COVID days, we still want to try new things, and that's we're doing the carbon footprint analysis right now, and want to be improved. Part of it is that it's my interest, and part of it is where the industry heading to, where the new industrial revolution, right? And part of it is that it's the competitions. I mean, I was talking to a friend yesterday. It's like, I think COVID makes people work harder and the competition's harder, because you've as a business owner, we got to survive. We got to make this business work in order to have a sustainable business, right? So we still have to watch out for our competitors, what they are doing, despite how the apparel industry have been impacted so much by the pandemic. But we still have to stick on our gun to innovate and try new things out. It's like in Remake Hub, we just have to try things out. We have some solutions for our recently we are working on some R&D for one of a major brand, worldwide brand, for trying to turn their waste into something useful for their store furnishing. We did some R&D. We came up with some samples. They said it's nice, but not quite good enough. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board and let's make it better. Let's take their comments and let's see how we can make something that they want, and it's also sustainable. We can do this in a circular way. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned your carbon footprint analysis. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because that's very interesting to me.
So I'm seeing brands starting to do the climate action, they lowering their carbon footprint, being carbon neutral. So I'm starting looking into that. What can I do and to make the things our entire organizations more carbon don't have that much carbon and so on. So I reach out to some friends. So because we at Chancon we are outerwear manufacturer, we do a lot of down jackets and so on for the winter time. So it's like, hey, that's our key product. So let's do an analysis on the carbon footprint of the manufacturing processes, the material, and also the end of life. So we have to look into all the materials, the fabrics, the down bags, the zippers, the threads, the material side, how much carbon it's creating from turning from the raw material, from the pellet stage, petroleum stage, all the way into the final jacket. Then we ship it out to our customers into Europe, that the carbon footprint of that, and also how much footprint when we are wearing this jacket. Like, so after we assume that we will wear it for a few years, 5 years, and then we wash it a couple times a year. So how much burden we're creating, how much carbon we're creating, the electricity and the detergents we're using. So it's still in process. We have some early numbers, but it's we still need to verify it and double check and so on. It's quite a daunting task. But it's interesting, and we have some findings like, wow, I didn't know that. And then once we find we confirm that number, we will go back and then we'll offset it. We're trying to see how we can make the manufacturing process more efficient, create less carbon, and what else we can do to offset that carbon. And then we want to have our customers to be part of this journey, so that they can create a more sustainable product for their clients, for the consumers. Yeah,
I commend you for that one. So once this, are you kind of tracking the process and like collecting a diary of this? Because this is very important in that people don't know how to measure, and if you're able to document that and publish that, that's going to be huge for the industry. That's going to be, and it's going to be huge for your industry, but it's also transferable to other industries as well.
Yeah. So I have a third-party consultant who has been working on this for a long time to help me to do it, because I had no clue how to do it.
Many don't.
Yeah. So it's really going down to the process, the early stage, where the material from, how it was made, how much electricity you use, and a lot of it is really just looking to factory, talking to them, and then checking out the data. And it's a lot of work, and it's because a jacket, it's not like a t-shirt. It's a jacket. It's a lot of components in them. Yeah, a lot of components. Yeah, so it's a long process, but it's quite interesting. It makes me think of other things also.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you learn a lot through that process. You make adjustments to your daily operations, right? You make adjustments to your strategic plan, from what you're learning. And so what would be, so in this journey, it's ongoing, right? To this point, what would be the lessons, some of the primary lessons learned, in your two organizations?
What I learned is that I think sustainability it's a really long journey. We are working on it. We're working hard. There's a lot of things we still need to improve, and also in the meantime, we still have to watch our wallet. That's very important. Right. So in this time, what I think is that because of COVID, this is hurting a lot of the apparel brands. When we start certain projects, we may say, something happened with that brand, less orders and long payment terms, and then we just have to then we have to budget that out and to say it's okay. Then we have to pick and see which sustainable project we do has the more impact, more value for money in a shorter period, and then we go after that, because we have to watch our wallet. Yeah, but what I'm seeing, it's fortunate right now is that a lot of brands wanting to be more sustainable.
Mhm.
It's because we work with other brands, not just apparel brands. So we're seeing other consumer goods brands want to do this more too. And then the more we get into it, because we're also at WeMakeUp trying to early process of figuring out we want to build a factory, a recycling factory. So we're checking out machines, we're checking out sites, we're doing our financial planning, and in the meantime we're hearing a lot of customers like, hey, cool, what you guys are doing. So, and then we're just doing more feasibility study. The more we do it, I think the more we see that there's a serious opportunity there, guys. So we also want to be able to make some money out of that, be profit from that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So can you expound on this recycling factory project?
Yeah, we want to start a ocean-bound plastic recycling factory in China. So specifically cleaning up all the ocean-bound plastics. They're still in an early planning stage for now. We will know we're doing some feasibility study. So once it gets done, then we will start to do some fundraising in hopefully in January or February, and go from there.
Interesting. I like that one. Keep me in the loop on that one.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say the last question that I would have is for leaders of organizations, for people who want to start up a sustainable organization, what advice would you give those individuals?
I work with more on the consumer goods side. So I would come from a consumer point of view, consumer goods brands point of view. You've got to create something looks great. That's very important.
Yes.
It's got to look great, man. If it doesn't look great, nobody will buy it. Looks great. It's the price of it. It has to reflect what it is, like value for the money.
Yes.
And that sustainable part, I think it's a key pillar. Anytime you're starting a new business now, consumer brands, you got to be able to have a sustainable angle. It's like nowadays there's a lot of these D2C consumer brands in China. Some of them are like they work in they do like food packaging, like coffee, like capsules. So they already having programs to take these capsules back so they can recycle them. So to create and then eventually create a closed loop for it. So we are also talking to some of these cosmetics brands also wants to do a closed loop, and that. So brands nowadays they have this sustainable mindset. Whether it is perfect or not, it's a first step. You got to start somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and I don't think there's a perfect sustainability out there because it's physics, it's chemistry. Like energy cannot create or nor destroy, right? You always have losses in the process, like loss to heat, loss to that, so on. So, but it's just you just keep trying to improve over time. Just you take the baby step, but just start. Don't try to make it like you're not gonna hit a grand slam right off the bat, but you got to get on base first.
Right.
Before you get on base, you got to step into the batter's box, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the step. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that answer. And that's the main question I get all the time. They say, Justin, you speak at all these conferences, you teach sustainability. You say, where do we start? You know, and now I'm going to say Vincent Djen said, just start.
Just start. Yeah. Create something nice, useful, looks nice, looks great, and won't breaks people's bank, and then think of what on the sustainability part, what you can do in each of these, you know, the key pillars, the design and so on, the price and these things. Yeah. How you can, it's get in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, right?
Yeah, it's not.
It's not rocket science. It's just chemistry.
Yeah. It's still hard, but it's if Elon Musk can create a rocket that can comes back and lands on itself, I think it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Elon, let's just call Elon and say, hey, well, Elon, what do you think sustainability is? All right, let's go. All right. So yeah, thank you for your time. Where can people find you?
Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn easily. Vincent Djen, last name. My last name is Djen. Vincent Djen can find me on LinkedIn easily, or you can just Google me. I think it will pop up here and there. Yeah.
Okay. And then what's your company websites?
Remake Hub is remakehub.co. And Chankong is chankong.com. It just goes to the LinkedIn company page. So it's CHENGKUNG.com. Okay.
All right, everyone, and we'll also put the links. We'll also put the links with this recording. Vincent, thank you for your time, and we're going to do this again.
Cool. Thanks, Dr. Goldston. It's
all right.
Having me. It was fun. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot. See you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.